What's going on, folks? Hope you guys all having a good day. Good afternoon to you all. You are here right now. Appreciate you all tuning in. Do me a favor, double check to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and also make sure that that bell notification button is hit to where it's set to where it says all. Like all notifications should be turned on, is what I'm telling you. All right. So you guys all see this topic right here. You see this story right here. So Chicago Fire Department calls for mass casualty bus after explosion at a residential building. Now, I got a lot of text from a ton of families saying, "Do you hear about the bombing? Did you hear about the bombing?" I'm like, what in the world is going on? They're asking me, did I hear about a bombing? They kept just saying it. Did you hear about the bombing? I'm thinking like, what in the world? So of course, I say something to my wife about it, like, babe, did you hear anything about a bomb? And she's like, no. So anyway, um, I went on ahead and pulled some stuff up, and they told me about a building that exploded. Is what my family did. So I pulled up some sources, whatever like that, and I'm just gonna let you guys know. Here it is. Chicago Fire Department calls for mass casualty bus after explosion at a residential building. The Chicago Police Department's bomb squad has responded to the scene. Firefighters responded to reports of an explosion in the Chicago on Tuesday, finding one car crushed under the rubble with bricks covering the street. The Chicago Fire Department has yet to announce a cause for the blast. First responders have reportedly requested 10 ambulance, and 6 people have already been transported to the hospital, with several in critical condition. Multiple fire engines have responded to the scene, but images do not appear to show an active blaze. The CFD says a mass casualty EMS bus is en route. Firefighters are working to evacuate the building adjacent to one where the explosion occurred, which was on the west side of the city, which I see why some family members called about this. It says rubble covers cars, rubble covers cars. This almost sounds like, Sally sold seashells by the seashore. Rubble covers cars and street following an explosion in Chicago. It shows that the building is located in the central and west end of Chicago. CFD confirms explosion and partial collapse. Still waiting to hear about possible injuries, but we do know that 6 people have been transported. Officials at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or the ATF, and Chicago Police Department bomb squad are also on the scene. There are 6 transports from Central and West End. CFD wrote in a statement regarding those that were injured. Red and yellow refer to severity of injuries, with red being critical. Let's see. So now an update says at least 8 are injured after the building explodes. So everybody is saying, using the word exploded. At least 8 people were injured when the 4-story building partially. Okay, this is just okay. I knew I'm gonna go to Chicago news. That's what I'll go to. That's what I'll do. At least 8 people have been taken to hospitals after Chicago building explosion. 8 people have been taken to the hospital from the scene of a building explosion in Chicago on Tuesday morning, according to the Chicago Fire. At least 3 of those people are listed in serious to critical condition, and the source of the explosion is unknown at this time and remains under investigation. And the ATF and the Chicago Bomb Unit are on the scene. Fire companies were dispatched around 9 a.m. local time, with some saying that there was some sort of explosion with partial collapse of the building. Authorities had conducted a technical sort search of the building due to its condition. Fairman said the upper floor was compromised, so technical experts were called in to support the structure, which struts to rescue personnel could safely search for victims. Officials were confident that they had gotten everyone out of the building, Furman said, but the search remained ongoing. Residents have displaced, he added, but it's not clear how many. About 135 personnel from fire suspension, special operations, EMS responded to the scene, he said. Officials from gas, water, electric utilities were also on the scene. And that's exactly what it was going to lead me to, is that I was going to say, I thought the same exact thing. Like, if there are something that exploded like that, I'm pretty sure that those people need to be on the scene, the electric company, the gas company, because of that. And if anything, according to like the pictures that I'm seeing right here, it looks like it's mainly like a lot of the stuff is like the top. I mean, it's the whole building pretty much. So I don't know what will cause that huge of an explosion. Then some of my family members told me that that area, of course, you know how they say things like it's not a good area, but that particular area is not an area where it seems to be like heavily populated, because I would think that the ones that they said that they didn't find anybody else in the building. They're confident that there's no one else in the building. From the looks of it, and I grew up around stuff like this, is that there may have been nobody in that building. I would need the address on there so I can go and look to see if anybody lived in any of those buildings. But it does look like it's one of those buildings, and it's a lot of them in Chicago, where they're ran down, they're abandoned, and they're just there wasting away. And some people who are homeless, I mean, we being real, who are homeless, some people who that are into prostitution, crackheads, they all would inhabit buildings like that right there. So a lot of my family members also told me that they might suspect some sort of insurance scam. Y'all, that does go on. Sometimes you get a house, which we known before. You've got some houses that have set for years and it's abandoned, and all of a sudden a oops fire, something like that happens to the house. The person still pays the title, for the land there. They keep on paying the property taxes, what I'm getting at, while the house is being ran down. All of a sudden, they'll say, oh, some thugs or somebody just burned the house down, and they end up getting insurance money from them, because the insurance money they get from the house is worth more than the house itself. So these things happen. Not saying that this is what happened here, but I'm just saying this is what a lot of the family are telling me, and they're saying things like, that's why, you didn't hear about a lot of people being injured in a building like that, because they think that no one even lives there. So yeah, that's what I have on that right now, folks. And it's not one of those stories that there's just not a lot of development in it right now. So I'm doing this because of my family. I'm doing this for y'all up in Chi-Town, so y'all can show other family members. But this literally is all it is. There's nothing more until this story develops a little bit more. Otherwise, I don't have that much more to give on this. Now, to you who are in here right now, do me a favor, hit the like button so this video can be circulated. I appreciate it if you did that. Also, I'd like to know, do you guys have any possible things or suggestions that you think that I may have missed, that you think may have happened? I think that it could have been it had to be some type of explosion. Now, water heater or something like that, I would say no, because if it is a water heater to a certain apartment unit, I can understand why that is. But if you guys go in there and see this building, I don't think that's a water heater. That might be a gas line or something like that, because gas lines runs all through. And if it's old school, it might be the old school water heater radiators. I do not know if something like that. But to me, I don't think, with all that rubble and all this stuff like that, cars and everything crushed, if you go and see this, I don't think that was caused by any type of water heater explosion. I'm thinking that's like a gas line explosion. As it exploded, went through the building. I don't know. But I see boards on the windows and like that, things like that. It don't look like it's an active apartment. In the building that it's actually attached to as well, it doesn't look like it is. And somebody just asked me, here, I'm gonna answer this. Walter Scoggins or Silver Fox said, how many stories is the building? The building itself is it's about it's about 4 stories is what I'm seeing. There's like 3 stories like in the front, like the front entrance of it, but then there's also one that's like, it's like the same building, it has another floor. So it looks like all together on one side of the building it is a 4-story building, but then all the other ones seem to be 3. But everything that seems to be really heavily damaged and blown out is mainly all on the top floors, but it's damaged on the bottom floors too. Like the windows are blown out, but the top floor looks heavily damaged. So let's see. Okay, Red said, don't forget to check if you are still subscribed. Appreciate that, sis. Joseph said maybe a meth lab. Dude, that had to be one gigantic monstrous meth lab for it to do a building like. Now I know I don't get me wrong, I know about meth labs and stuff exploding, but most of the time it ain't gonna be nowhere near no hood. I'm just saying, a lot of black folks ain't dealing with meth. I'm just being real. Like a lot of black folks are dealing with cocaine, heroin, crack, weed. You know what I'm saying? Horse tranquilizer. I know y'all like, what? Yeah, horse tranquilizer. But I don't know too many black folks have been messing around with any meth or anything like that. So, but that is a good theory. I mean, I could be wrong. I just don't see that being one of the things there in the hood. Now, let's see. Destiny and Dana Wedding Gift says they'll blame it on natural gas. It could be. That's why I said a gas line. Elvis, how you doing, sir? So I asked you guys and y'all gave y'all opinion on this, but all in all, let's see. Neil said, I'm going with the illegal gas hookup. Natural gas is getting expensive. Expect more of this, but that's my 2 cents. Okay, yeah, that's another good theory right there. Sweet Mama said, drug dealers will sell meth too. Yes, they will sell it, but you don't see black folks making it, is what I'm getting at. Let's see. It says 8 schools are being sent home because of a serious threat. The news says serious threat. What? Like a serious threat because of this, or? So I guess that's, otherwise, Elvis, you came in a little late, sir. I am going to do another one like this. And that's all I got for this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Right. So appreciate you guys all tuning in. And don't forget to hit that like button. I am going to move on to another story here pretty soon. So with that being said, oh, let me read this real quick. They said true. If a meth lab, very toxic smoke. Yep, that could be true. But I think if that's the case, all the police officers, the bomb squad, they would have already called that by now. Since it happened just like around 9 o'clock, they probably would have called that. Now, if there's a thing where they think like all these gas lines actually run into these other schools, I can understand that. But as far as the toxic smoke and all that, they would have been they would have already said that already. You know, they would have kind of tested it and let that word get out there. So because they got a lot of people there on the scenes right there. So anyway, again, folks, I'm going to get ready to end this, and I'll be doing another story here. So stay tuned. Keep my channel up. When I get out of here, keep my channel up because I am going to come back, and I know a lot of you guys are not being notified. So don't forget, hit that like button. Double check to make sure you are subscribed and all that good stuff. All right. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I hope and pray every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.